Hi. My name is Jeff. Greenspan, yeah, and I'm 48 years old, and I'm on the Night of Young Comics. So apparently youth is on the sliding scale, you know? Like compared to a redwood tree, I'm very young, you know? I'm 48 years old. I just turned 48. I had my birthday a couple of weeks ago. And it's my Jesus year. Oh, thank you. Yeah, 48. Yeah. 48. It's my Jesus year. You know. Yeah, the year that Jesus was when he died. A lot of people don't know Jesus notoriously lied about his age. I don't know if you guys know that. For a savior, he was pretty petty. I'm 48. A lot of people think when you get older you can't party. I still party. A couple of weeks ago I did a line of Centrum off a stripper's tits. So I'm pretty, I'm getting down with it. I'm excited to be doing comedy this late in life. It's exciting, you know, I like all types of comedy, except country. You know, I don't like it. But I'm so excited when I see comics doing well. I'm excited about the comics that we've seen already, the ones we're going to see. And I'm glad that Kathy Griffin is back. Kathy Griffin was out for a while. She's back. People were angry because she held up the fake decapitated head of Donald Trump. People got angry. And you know what? I get it. I get being angry about that because it's another example of cultural appropriation. That's a Middle Eastern thing being done by a white woman. Not cool, Kathy, you're out. You are out. I'm a native New Yorker, and I was born in New York. I guess that's what a native New Yorker means. You know? And as a native New Yorker, I've experienced all 5 stages of grief. And if you're not familiar with the stages, they are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. Or as I like to call the stages, Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. Manhattan's denial, absolutely. You go to that city thinking you're going to get something like a bedroom with a door. Denial. And then if you've seen the murder rate in the Bronx, you know, that's some serious anger. You know. And there's the bargaining of Brooklyn. No, it's the city-ish. Then you move into the depression of Queens because no one's going to visit you in Queens. And then there's happiness and acceptance in Staten Island. You ever meet anyone from Staten Island? They are the happiest people you will ever meet. Not a hope or dream in the bucket. They've given up and they've accepted where they are in life. And I'm jealous of that. Native New Yorker, but I just came back from Portland, where I learned a really important lesson that angry lesbians are not my demo. You know, it's, they didn't like me there. Is it possible for a city to be too open-minded? Is it? If you want to see how far left the pendulum swings, go to Portland, where they are angry that I just implied that the pendulum only swings 2 ways. They are, they're a little uptight in their open-mindedness, you know. I'm 48, like I said. A lot of my friends who are my age have kids, and they're worrying about where should I send my kids to school? Public school, private school? I don't have kids. But if I did, I would send them to the school that I see in porn. Because the teacher-to-student ratio looks incredibly reasonable. That's a good community, wherever they're filming that. Like I said, I was born in 1970, so my parents, they didn't have the internet. So they couldn't Google, what's the worst way to raise a child? They had to figure it out on their own. They did their best. They made some mistakes, you know. They tried. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a little glimpse into what family life was like for me. I was raised Jewish. And traditionally, Jewish kids get 1 gift every night for 8 nights of Hanukkah. Here's what I got on the first night of Hanukkah one year. Front wheel to a bicycle. Second night of Hanukkah, handlebars to a bicycle. third night of Hanukkah, I got the back wheel to a bicycle. And on the last night of Hanukkah, when all I needed were the pedals, I got socks. They gave me the pedals eventually for my birthday. In July. That was tough. But they did the best they could, you know. The world has changed. We live in a world now where there's all this outrage over parents being separated from their children. When I was growing up, this is all that I wished for. This is completely true. When we would go on road trips, I would sit in the back of the car and I would take my socks and shoes off. And I would roll my socks into a ball and I'd shove them in my mouth. And I'd put my hands behind my back like this. And I'd bang my head against the passenger window, hoping that passersby would see us and pull us over and take me away from this family. Between the ages of 9 and 12, I did this all across the Long Island Expressway. We were pulled over 0 times. We were like a rolling Amber Alert that everyone chose to ignore. What's going on in that station wagon? Don't look. Oh, Amber Alerts. You know, the Amber Alert is named after a real girl, Amber Hagerman, and who went missing. And I think they named it after her because she subscribed to the white dominant narrative of beauty. She was a white, brown-haired, blue-eyed girl, and we gotta find those. There was no way the system was gonna allow Shaniqua alerts on the iPhone 7. That was not gonna happen. But I am not racist, but I did go to a very racist school. I was homeschooled. And when I was around 14 and I was starting to date, my parents said, now that you're dating, we expect you to bring home someone who's like us. I said, like us? You mean neurotic? What do you mean like us? They said, no, we just wouldn't expect you to bring home a black girl. And I was so disappointed that my parents felt that way, but I was living at home and I did what they said. I never brought home a black girl. But I brought home a lot of black guys. Oh, like a lot. And let me tell you something, after that my parents would have been thrilled if I brought home a black girl. I think my homosexuality made me more progressive when it comes to race, so it was can I be extremely honest with you? Given everything that male comedians have been doing, I want to make sure this is consensual, so I'm just going to open up. I know that we have different sensibilities in this room, but give me this for a minute. I was dating a black guy recently, and did someone say Jesus already? Jesus, he's dating a black guy. Yeah, I was dating this black guy. And I don't usually get fucked. But he said it was time to try, so we tried. And he kept losing his erection. And I said, what is it? Is it me? Is it the condom? What is it? He goes, I'll be honest with you, Jeff. He goes, when it comes to fucking, I prefer another black guy. I like a black ass. Interesting. Now I know it's incredibly uncool to dress in blackface. But no, of course not. I did. No. I told you a little bit about my family. And, you know, I think that when we grow older, we try to recreate the relationships we had when we were little, even if they were abusive or dysfunctional, because that feels like home to us. You know, right? Yeah. And I come from violence and rejection and chaos, which is why my current relationship with Citibank feels so right. Oh, I love it. I went into a branch recently to deposit a check and there were no pens, so I complained to the teller and I said, there's no pens, I can't sign the check. She goes, yeah, we used to keep pens out, but everybody stole them. And I said, you guys stole billions of dollars from America's future. We should at least get a token pen in exchange, you know? The pen could say, I bailed out the banking industry with my tax dollars, all I got was this lousy pen. Fill the lobby with those pens, I say. But there was a lot of violence and abuse in my family, and later in life, my dad was on his deathbed, and so I flew down to Florida to say goodbye to him. And I sat next to the bed, and he apologized for everything, and I truly forgave him for everything, and I thanked him for everything, and he thanked me too. And we had this really, really, really great moment of closure. And then he lived. And he made a complete recovery. You ever leave your office with a coworker and you say goodbye to each other, and then you realize you're both walking the same way? And you have nothing to say to each other? That's me and my dad for the rest of our lives. I hope you have a great evening. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm Jeff Greenspan. Good night.